Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and without further ado, let's jump right into it. Microstrategy, you haven't heard that name in a while, has purchased 6,455 Bitcoin, and it cost them approximately 150 million US dollars. You might or might not have been here during the long ago. Microstrategy is a gigantic cryptocurrency focused company. They made waves, headlines, tsunami waves years ago every time that they announced that they were into Bitcoin. However, what really got the people going is when they kept on announcing that they had purchased Bitcoin. This was way before Elon Musk and Tesla and SpaceX were buying any kind of crypto. The movements made by MicroStrategy were always like, we just bought 13,000 Bitcoin. It's Friday, we got really bored. We just bought another 28,000 Bitcoin. We have not heard from MicroStrategy. It's been at least a year. I want to say a year and a half, but I can't really put the timing together. With its latest purchase, MicroStrategy now holds. This is one company. When you hear me say, and I listen, and I know sometimes because I know how people are. When I tell my friends, you should put some money away so you can retire early, I see the looks that I get. And I've understood quite well that when I repeat things, people don't like to hear it. If the whole lead a horse to water kind of thing. But I say these things repetitively because you need to understand what's happening in the world. A lot of people become so focused and or distracted by things that are actually taking place that are going to have a major impact or no impact at all on their lives because they weren't listening. So I try to bring you all of these things. Understand that over the course of the last couple of days, we all know that there would only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. Got it. However, we had news a couple of days ago that 6 million Bitcoin are lost and gone forever. Old computers, people threw stuff away, forgot their passwords, you name it, it has happened. When you talk about that there's then roughly only 15 million Bitcoin for 8 billion people, and then you talk about that MicroStrategy, it says they have 138,955 Bitcoin. That's what I mean when I say the rich are paying attention and everyone else is not. They're buying. Can you imagine right now having an extra $150 million and simply buying Bitcoin with it? Bitcoin is at 20-something other odd $1,000. What happens when, and I say when, Bitcoin gets to $1 million? How much richer is this country? What about all the other people we've been hearing about over the last couple of years who are buying 5,000 Bitcoin at one time, 16,000 Bitcoin at one time? All that adds up very, very quick. It is believed that the Winklevoss twins own over 150,000 Bitcoin as well. This is news that we got like back in 2013, 2014 or something like that. There's not a lot left. It is very difficult, apparently, to convey that meaning of what I'm trying to say, but It says with its latest purchase, MicroStrategy now holds one company. And that's not even the CEO of MicroStrategy. He also has a huge amount as well. Now holds 138,955 Bitcoin, acquired at an average price of around $29,000 per coin. Moreover, the company also paid off its loan from troubled Silvergate Bank in full. NASDAQ-listed MicroStrategy announced earlier this week that it has acquired 6,455 BTC. Michael Saylor tweeted, MicroStrategy repaid their $205 million Silvergate loan at a 22% discount. They also acquired 6,455 Bitcoin, $150 million, and they now hold 138,955 BTC. In a filing with the US SEC on Monday, the company detailed that the 6,455 Bitcoin were acquired between February and roughly nearly the end of March. This is the 23rd of March. In an odd piece of news, and it may just be because this is so much in the news right now, but that's as far as my brain would let me get there. The news that Microstrategy repaid their loan to Silvergate Bank was more popular than them having purchased $150 million worth of Bitcoin. I think the priorities right now are kind of all over the place. I think people aren't understanding what it means to have news like that. To hear that anyone is interested in Bitcoin is amazing. To hear that there are hundreds of companies who are, wow, they really like Bitcoin, that's awesome. But to hear that one company has billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin because they keep buying every single dip. And the last time we heard from MicroStrategy, the market had begun to move up. Historically, MicroStrategy tends to buy when prices are too low. They always buy when they're like something, this discount is getting completely out of control. They end up buying and they make tons of money. MicroStrategy is also, I believe, the only company who says that they're never going to be selling their Bitcoin. I think we've had 4 news instances where someone was like, they sold their coins. And then the guy was like, no, we didn't sell anything. Stop being that guy. So, yeah, of course, very popular, incredibly popular news. MicroStrategy, it's the first thing on the line. MicroStrategy pays off their Silvergate loan. I think the part where they bought $150 million as one company alone is probably more significant. MicroStrategy repays their $205 million loan to Silvergate and, just happened to randomly also buy 6,500 more Bitcoin. I don't get why. What's wrong with people? Who cares that they repaid their loan? I get it. It's significant. It's cool. They did it, years early. I think they're 2 years early from when it was due, but I think it's more that the company owns billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, or is it just me? Do you care more about them paying off their loan or now there being a significant amount of Bitcoin less than we had originally? Okay, it's not just me? Okay, cool. That's the MicroStrategy bought 6,500 Bitcoin news. Yeah. Let's move on. Also okay, sure. Dogecoin, the world's largest meme coin, is set to receive a significant upgrade to make the popular blockchain more interoperable and user-friendly. Recently, Michi Lumen, a Dogecoin developer, tweeted about the upgrade, saying that it's called Lib Dogecoin 0.1.2 has been released. He then noted that this is a big one, adding that it was a roll-up of the interim 0.1.1 dev release. A roll-up is a scaling solution that allows multiple transactions to be processed off-chain and then submitted to the blockchain as a single transaction, reducing gas fees and congestion on the network. It helps increase the transaction throughput of a network while improving its efficiency as per Lumen. This network upgrade includes numerous fixes and enhancements such as memory integrity checks, truncation, is that a word? Truncation fixes, length checks for edge cases, we all need that, and Go and Python wrappers updates. That's not wrapper as in wiggity wiggity whack, but more as in WRAPPERS. There's a lot of words here. I don't understand them, and I don't really know exactly what's going on. But what I can say is that about a year, I would say 14, 15, 16 months ago, we heard news that apparently Dogecoin developers were going to, and other people, were going to begin dishing out large upgrades for the platform, that is to say Dogecoin. And I think this came in reaction to the release of Shiba Inu and other coins kind of, chugging along. Dogecoin was meant as a joke. Shiba Inu came along and said, we are not a joke, and they have like 95 different upgrades and stuff all the time in the news. But Dogecoin, we usually, 9 out of 10 times, hear about it. If the price went down too much, if Elon Musk ate a nacho and it sounded like Dogecoin. And I think the last time was at the Super Bowl where he wore a shirt with Dogecoin on it. So the project doesn't really do a lot per se, but it appears that they're trying to definitely do so, because I'm sure they could get tons of people building on top of this. You just gotta do stuff to the actual chain, and it can't just be a meme anymore. So cool. There's an upgrade, and it has a lot of really crazy words, and there's a lot of BIPs and BIP 39 seed phrases and all that other stuff. So I hope it works out for them. I hope the upgrade becomes amazing. Okay. Let's move on. Also in the news, the United States government has now surpassed Microstrategy and Tesla as one of the largest holders of Bitcoin. You heard that correctly. A lot of people don't know that. And this is why it's always fundamental to pay attention in class, or just at least watching this video. Many moons ago, the United States, for some reason, right, began to get a lot of people in trouble that they allege had done something less than good. And when they found said people, they went through all their assets and they kept on accumulating all of their Bitcoin. And now they have so much Bitcoin that they're one of the world's largest holders. So when you talk about the situation where you're trying to ascertain who has a lot of Bitcoin, and I've heard over the years that people go, the US would never touch Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, guess what? They're one of the largest holders on the planet, and a lot of people tend to forget that. This is information from Dune Data, and it is from the 27th of March. The figure is over slightly 1% of all the circulating supply, and is worth around 5.7 billion US dollars at current market rate. According to trackers, MicroStrategy holds 132,000, we just went over that, while Tesla owns 10,725 Bitcoin, less than what the US government controls. Yeah, 10,000 is definitely less than 205,000. Good job, writer. And there's a little chart for some reason right there. Earlier, authorities had at least 215,000 Bitcoin, but sent around 9,800 Bitcoin to Coinbase in early March of this year. Okay. Still, that leaves the government with a massive stash of coins they have seized in separate events over the years. In the first instance, the government seized 69,000 Bitcoin from a person they called Individual X. Sounds like Powerpuff Girls. Linked to the Silk Road Marketplace. Individual X's address, known as, it doesn't really matter. That's way too much information for me. Yeah, they've been doing this for years. A lot of people forget that over and over. And now we have extra numbers and confirmation. Yay! So I will say it this way. I don't think that the U.S. government is, and I'm going to use the S word, stupid. I assume that they know pretty good how to make money. And I feel that over the last couple of years, as we've seen this massive uptick in billionaires who keep coming forward talking about how amazing Bitcoin is, there's some kind of information that we're not getting. That's me, you, I, us, that, we're not in the same wealth pool, if you will. So when you talk about, you hear Amazon and Apple and Google getting into crypto and stuff like that, I assume it's usually, my assumption, off the back of news like this for really major things, because they also see exactly where all of this is going. And I do not believe myself that there's going to be a scenario anytime soon where the US is going to be liquidating all of their Bitcoin. And I, once again, then, the question mark pops up. How much richer does the United States become when Bitcoin hits $1 million? And this is just what we know. This is from the actual big events that we've seen. Who's to say that they're literally not also mining Bitcoin as well? That they're not like trading in stocks and trading in a whole bunch of other stuff to get extra money to buy more crypto? Do you think the US only has 215,000 Bitcoin, or do you think they have more? I don't know. I'm just, throwing my hands up. I don't know. Just kind of wild times we're living in where people are paying more attention to a company paying off a loan as opposed to buying billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, while the world's largest government also owns billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. But, keep paying attention to Sam Bankman-Fried and all the other stuff that are meant to distract you, because it's working. It's working incredibly well. Those whales are whaling. Anyway, that's the U.S. government holds an enormous amount of Bitcoin news. And yeah, let's move on. This is probably one of the more intensely significant news stories that we've had in a while. I do believe that a large portion, and this is at least in my view, this is not tinfoil hat. You have to understand that we live in a world where cash is king, rules everything around me, dollars, over and over. And I've mentioned to all of you before, at least 47 times in the last 12 months, the stuff that we see going on right now, I personally do not believe that it's random. I find it very weird that the SEC has literally been on the warpath, even more so since the beginning of the year. This is the year of hyper-regulation of central bank digital currencies. When you talk about a company like MicroStrategy is not a multi-trillion-dollar company. I'm going to repeat that. MicroStrategy does not have as much money as Fidelity or BlackRock and many other institutions. When you talk about the fact that MicroStrategy has that much Bitcoin, when you talk about the economic power and or popularity of cryptocurrency exchanges on the planet, did anyone else think it's weird that Coinbase has been getting in so much trouble? Kraken has been getting in tons of trouble. Remember, I told you the weirdest part forever is when Gemini got in trouble. They've been side by side with regulators from day one. And also, keep this in mind, Binance is the largest cryptocurrency exchange that we currently have on the planet. Every time that they get in trouble, I always, look closer, because I feel like a lot of the stuff that they get in trouble for is looked for. I'll put it to you this way. When you were younger and you were in school, we all had a teacher who complained about us for no reason. There was always something that we couldn't do right, we couldn't get wrong. I will never, ever forget this. It was a parent-teacher conference, and I remember my mother came, and I remember we were talking to I must have been 8 or 9 or 10. I don't remember the exact age, but I was very young. And the teacher was saying that I was a class clown and all this other stuff. And she was like, but he's not that much of a bother. So then my mother was like, so what's the issue? She was like, well, listen, when I look and I grade his papers, he's not closing the loop on his A. And when he writes the letter O, he's not drawing the circle completely around. She was like, we need to get this together because, he's going to have a hard time in school when he gets older. And I remember that it's burned in my memory because this woman was looking for a problem. She was looking for something to be able to say that was negative about me in some sort of way. And this is, once again, as I've said before, I do not work with any of these cryptocurrency exchanges. I do not know these people. I don't hang out with them, what have you. But I find it very weird that they keep getting in trouble for the weirdest things over and over. It's almost as if someone, and this is why I don't trust at all regulators within this space and or especially the SEC. You make sure to get people in trouble years after you claim that they've been doing something, as opposed to telling them this from the get-go. Why didn't the teacher tell me one day in class, hey, when you're doing the O, Continue all the way. Why wait until my mother was there and it was more public? You're just trying to get me in trouble in front of someone who I would be in trouble with. The world's largest crypto exchange by trading volume, Binance, and its CEO, Changpeng Zhao, are apparently being sued by the US CFTC. Yeah, that's the Commodities Futures Trading Commission, for allegedly violating trading and derivative rules, the U.S. government agency announced on Monday. When this happened, markets dove, and I made sure to write on Twitter, I was like, I hope no one fell for this because this keeps happening over and over. And I don't know why it works. You do understand the difference between a company and a blockchain. I assume you also understand the difference between a hallway and Bitcoin. Everyone still with me? If a company that is not Bitcoin gets in trouble, why would you sell off your Bitcoin? If you saw someone walking down the hallway and they slipped on a banana because it's a cartoon in the 1930s, would you sell off your XRP because that was in Ripple's building? Right. The CFTC has launched an attack on the Binance exchange and on Changpeng Zhao in the lawsuit filed in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Illinois on Monday. The regulator claims that Binance and its CEO operated a derivatives trading facility in the United States since 2019, allowing local customers to trade swaps, futures, and options on cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ether, and Litecoin. 2019. That was literally before Coco Roro. You didn't tell them in December 2019? You didn't tell them in March 2020. Like, hey guys, we got nothing else to do. I'm at home. Looks like something might be going wrong on your website. You wait 4 years. Especially because if there was an issue with you as a US customer using Binance and having access to all these things that you allegedly should not have had access to, why would you wait so long all the time? Here's the tweet for it right here. Someone named Adam Cochran decided to talk about it on Twitter, and he thinks that they are trying to topple the Binance empire. The case that they have and the main thing that they're trying to state in this lawsuit is that they believe that Binance has been allowing people in and outside of the United States to use their services. Now, you might say, why would that be an issue? One of the main, and I air quote here, problems that regulators and governments currently have when it comes to crypto is the idea that these are money laundering machines. You can whoop, 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 just keep, do whatever you want, all the money flying all over the place. People love to do illegal things. Governments and banks are the largest money launderers in the world. Look it up. Every single time we have a bank who is laundering large amounts of money, it's hundreds of millions of dollars. And then when the bank gets fined, they get fined $2 million. So you would probably launder $100 million and only have to pay $2 million because you still go out on the plus side. There have been allegations since around last year that there are a number of countries on the planet who have allegedly been using Binance, more than likely with a VPN, to trade on their platform and, do whatever wanted to do. And in this instance, it was apparently supposed to have been Binance's job to figure out when anyone accessed their platform from a restricted country, even though they were using a VPN. And therefore, in this instance, they would have then been helping what you would call a criminal and or an enemy or someone who was doing something not good. This, I believe, is one of the more direct, right in your face responses to Fidelity, to JP Morgan Chase, to BlackRock. We just had news. What is it? The NASDAQ is getting into cryptocurrency, buying, holding, lending, selling. Basically what Binance is doing. Does anyone find it odd that every crypto exchange that we've had for 6, 7, 8 plus years, they are now in the same 12-week period all getting in trouble as we have the announcements that the largest and richest companies and organizations on the planet are now walking into crypto? Doesn't that seem a little bit off to everyone? If you knew that someone you knew was doing something wrong since 2019, would you tell them today? Or would you have sat them down in 2019, middle of 2019, end of 2019? Anyone find it weird that Coinbase is getting in trouble for staking? If you look at all online, you know what staking is. You know how it works. You know that money goes into a protocol. It goes into a blockchain. Why is Coinbase, and you know I don't like Coinbase, why is Coinbase getting in trouble for that? If someone, now this is not me defending Binance, I do not know what they did in their offices or wherever on their computers, but I would say it's fairly odd to assume that someone accessing your website through a VPN, Binance was supposed to have known that. They were supposed to have stopped someone from using other technology to. The CFTC further alleges that Binance made calculated attempts to expand its footprint in the United States, despite publicly claiming it would restrict U.S. citizens from accessing its platform. Binance, Tsao, and former Chief Compliance Officer Samuel Lim all reportedly chose to ignore those requirements and undermined Binance's ineffective compliance program by taking steps to help customers evade Binance's access controls. How weird that it is that the only country on the planet that does not have cryptocurrency regulations keeps getting cryptocurrency exchanges in trouble. When was the last time we heard news about this happening in Japan, in South Korea? How many crypto exchanges can you tell me off the top of your head? It's none, by the way. Have been in trouble in Germany or in France or in Italy or in South Africa? Anyone? Australia? Anywhere in Latin America? Give me 2 cryptocurrency exchanges that have gotten in trouble in Latin America that are currently in Latin America. Yeah, the answer is 0 for those of you who didn't get it. When I say in videos, as I've said before, that these are very direct attempts and these are attacks at the cryptocurrency space, this is it. I do not know where this will go. I assume Binance is working with, their lawyers and all that other stuff, but this is meant to harm them. This is meant to make you think that something is wrong with their platform. And the way that governments make you think this is by simply saying, here we go again, criminals use it. Terrible people use it. There's no anti-money laundering KYC. Why are you using that platform? It sounds weird, but this is the way that they think that other people will fall in line, That thing over there, it's terrible. It's dark. It's evil. They were helping criminals. And then everyone else is supposed to go, oh my gosh, oh no, that's crazy. But guess what? Once again, this is the only country. This is the richest country on the planet. How do they not have cryptocurrency regulations when everywhere else does? Everywhere. Every other freaking country. Doesn't it seem odd? You have all these cryptocurrency exchanges. They've been begging, please give us regulations. We want to make sure that we are compliant. And then they keep getting sued. They keep getting in trouble. Who gets that money when they get sued? That money does not return back to you. That's you, the listener, right now. You will not see a penny of any of this money from this lawsuit. 0. Even though every single time it's the regulators constantly announcing, the U.S. citizens, they were exposed to this thing and, it's not right. Over and over and over. So yeah, that's the Binance is being sued by the, and I'm shocked by the CFTC. I don't know if the ultimate point is to make sure that money leaves their borders, or if they want other countries to thrive more than they are. But the U.S. is doing a heck of a job in making sure that companies simply just stop working there. They're really, really good at it. Whether it be the lack of 0% taxes, the constant harassment by the regulators. But once again, this is all done on purpose. It's because the richest people, when you have large banks talking about that Bitcoin will be several $100,000, when you hear that banks and institutions and hedge funds are talking about where Bitcoin's price will be in 2045 and 2050, they want complete control of this market. We are not meant to be in this market. That's me, you, we, us, me and you. We are normal people. We are not meant to have any Satoshis. We are meant to be terrified constantly when news like this gets released and we're supposed to sell off our coins. What happens every single time there's a panic, a scare, a sell-off in the market? In 2 days, there's always whales bought the dip. Prices are back up by $2,000 on Bitcoin, and whales bought everything. Who do you think these whales are? That's the Binance is facing a CFTC lawsuit. News. Yeah, pay attention, everyone. Let's move on. Right? I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope sincerely that you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever the heck you might be. I hope it's going great. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, paying attention, commenting, and or supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.